The second type of literacy strategies we're going to look at are called during reading activities. According to Yope and Yope, during reading activities help students participate in thoughtful, active engagement, which is necessary for the construction of meaning. They also say that strategies that make students generate questions, create visuals, summarize, and look at text structure enhances their comprehension and understanding of literature. The three during reading activities we're going to look at are literature circles, graphic organizers, and character carousels. Literature circles are temporary groups of students who discuss a text. The group decides when to meet, how much to read, and they rotate group roles. This strategy is very good in the classroom if you need to differentiate among your students, because you can group students together based on their reading ability and such forth. You can also group them based on, what they're interested in. A couple of the different group roles that you can assign students are questioner, and that students develops questions for the students or for the group to go over. Literary luminary, which locates passages that have a specific meaning. The connector, which makes connections between the book and the student's real life. The illustrator, which creates graphics. Vocabulary enhancer, which selects words that maybe they didn't know what the meaning was or that they found interesting, and they share those with the group. And then lastly, we have the travel tracer. This student records the character travels. They could do that as a list. They could make a map. That part is kind of depending upon the student. Next, we have the graphic organizer. Graphic organizers are a way for students to visually represent ideas in a story. There are many ways a teacher or librarian can create a graphic organizer. You can create a very simple one where maybe the students only have to pick out one item from the story, such as maybe the plot or maybe just the characters. Or you can make your graphic organizer more detailed. So you can have students looking at multiple aspects of the story. So they could be looking at the setting, the characters, and the plot all at one time. The next strategy we're going to look at is character carousels. A character carousel gets students up and moving around the classroom. You can have students list character attributes such as appearance, personalities. You can have students list character roles in the story, how characters respond to certain situations, and you can have your students make predictions about each character in the book. Students can do this on poster board that's been hung up around the room. Then you could just have students write one piece of information on each poster for each character. Or you can also do this online. So you could have students set up a wiki or a Google Doc page where they have to write one answer for each character. The share button on Google Drive would make this very easy to do. This type of activity really gets students to think critically about a character. They have to start digging deep, especially if the student before them has already used the attribute or characteristic that they wanted to write down. And this also helps get them engaged in whole class discussions. When you go over this at the end, students can really see what the other person thought about. The last type of literacy strategies we're going to look at are post-reading activities. The quality of post-reading activities affects where students perceive reading a text as enjoyable or as a classwork activity. So this is really going to determine what your students think about what you're doing in class. Are they going to enjoy it, or are they going to just be like, oh, well, here's another assignment?
Created using Powtoon.